Welcome back to IGN Live at E3 2018. Joining me is Almir Listo, producer at Overkill, and we are checking out Overkill's The Walking Dead. I have to confess, I'm a big Payday veteran. And when I got to play this yesterday, I was very happy, but it is very dissimilar to Payday in some respects. So talk me through the gameplay of Overkill's The Walking Dead.
All right, thanks for having me. So Overkill's The Walking Dead is a 4-player cooperative first-person shooter set in the Walking Dead universe. We worked closely together with Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead, on making these characters as believable and as big of a part of the universe as possible. And I'm happy to say that he likes them so much that we have his blessing. They're a part of the canon of the comic book.
They're part of the canon. That's got to be very exciting for your narrative team.
Yeah, of course. And it's a huge compliment to the development team back home in Sweden working hard on the game. Because we've been working on this game and we're here at E3 showing the first playable version of it, an internal beta that we're having. So it's a great play test for us, seeing all the Walking Dead fans and Payday veterans like yourself being able to check it out and hands-on, try out the gameplay for themselves and try to survive in a post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C.
So we're seeing some melee gameplay here. I'm a big fan of the shooting in Payday, Payday 2, and The Walking Dead. I liked it quite a lot. So talk me through the melee combat. Why are you incentivized to use melee in Overkill's The Walking Dead?
When we designed Overkill's The Walking Dead together with Robert, we wanted to stay true to the universe. And if you read the comic books, you understand that the world has ended, and thus not that much things work anymore. So you have to make do with what you can find. The ammo will be scarce, weapons will break, suppressors will break, scopes will be dirty. You might have difficulties looking down in them when you're going to shoot. And utilizing melee combat and melee weapons is your best choice when you want to make sure you don't want to attract any attention. Because the more noise you make, the more walkers you're going to attract.
And we're going to speak about that later in some great detail. I had a lot of fun with the noise meter here. So another interesting thing about these characters is they have kind of tools unique to their archetype. Instead of having a tank or a mage and the traditional D&D archetypes, you have archetypes that rely on skills like having wire cutters or having a lockpick. What does that get you if you're able to use those abilities in the game?
So you could say that the game is divided into two big things. One thing is that you have the camp that you're a part of. You could almost say that it's a fifth character, because the camp can also evolve as you continue playing the game. And just like in any good Walking Dead story, the group of survivors try to make a good life in this post-apocalyptic setting, but conflict arises. So in the demo we're showing here at E3, the survivors have to find a water purifier that has been stolen by a rival bandit faction called the Family. So we have to get it back. And while we do that, we might as well scavenge the Georgetown, which we have to go through in order to get to them. So as you go through the level, you will find loot and other things that you can use, not only to create the weapons you were talking about and lockpicks and other things, but also to bring back to the camp in order to upgrade it further.
So I had an experience where I had a fantastic revolver, really loud though, and then I had an MP5 that was suppressed, and eventually my suppressor broke off, which is terrifying because there's this meter at the top of the screen when you make noise. Tell me what that meter is all about, and once it gets to 3 pips, what happens?
I'm happy you noticed. This is one of the cool things our design team has put together at Overkill and Starbreeze. So staying true to the universe of The Walking Dead has been one of the most important pillars for us making this game. And because we want to make sure the action is intense, while at the same time retaining an ebb and flow gameplay where there are calm moments and there are intense moments, we came up with the idea to utilize this noise meter, as you call it, or we internally call it the Hoarder Meter, because what it does is that it symbolizes the attention in the world that your group is getting. So the more noise you make, or the more noise the bandits make, or something else happens, for example, maybe a car alarm goes off, or someone starts to shoot in the air, and it might not be you. The noise is going to increase, and more walkers are going to be attracted.
So we're picking up fuses here, and we are depositing them into what appears to be a generator. What is the goal here?
So the goal here is that you're going through the Georgetown district, and right now the survivors are trying to look for the hideout. And in order to look for them further, they have to pass a gate. And there are small puzzles like these through the entire game where we want players to use tactics and to find solutions to ways going forward through the level. Because usually there will be multiple options for players. They can either choose to stealth an area and try to just pass through it without making any noise, or you can always go in guns blazing, throwing grenades, and
That's always my style.
badass.
I must have played Hector Mendoza's Rats mission 100 times
in Payday 2, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to me about the arsenal of Overkill's The Walking Dead. I think one of the really interesting things is in Payday, it's almost like Heat. You're just strapped, you're ready to go. But in Overkill's The Walking Dead, you're scavenging, you're looking for weapons. They're a lot more weathered. So what can we expect in terms of firearms?
It's a really good question. Weapons in a first-person shooter matter. They mean a lot to players, and we respect that. That's why we put so much energy and effort into Payday 2, making the amount of weapons we did, making the weapon customization as we did. And I'm happy to say that in Overkill's The Walking Dead, we're taking that further with us into the game. So the team has come up with some really, really cool options that we look forward to talking more about when we get closer to launch. But there will be different kinds of weapons. There will be your sniper rifles. There will be the suppressed shotguns. There will be the pistols, the crossbows, and anything you can find in order to survive in this setting.
Speaking of sniper rifles, we're going to see a player scope in on a different enemy here. This is a human.
Yeah.
And when I shot that nest of bandits and they all aggroed, I freaked out. I thought they were just walkers.
Yeah.
But tell me what is threatening about other human players in The Walking Dead.
Funny you say that, because people who have been playing the game at our booth here in the West Hall, all of them have been saying, you come into the game and you see the first few walkers, no problem. You beat them down with a few baseball bats, maybe you got a stick or a machete. And then as you come further, you start to notice that, hey, there's humans here, because you can see bear traps, other kinds of traps that have been laid out. And that's not walker behavior. And people usually think that the walkers are the biggest threat in the Walking Dead universe. They're not. It's the humans. The humans, you don't know what they want, but you always know what a walker wants. They just want to eat you up, right? But the humans, they have an agenda. And in this case, there's conflict with the family.
So can we sneak through that part? Can we sneak through a lot of the level? And then let me ask, for those of us like myself who love going loud through the entire level, will there be missions that allow me to do that? Because I did notice that ammo is very sparse commodity, very valuable.
True, yeah. And it's like a battle of attrition in a sense. You could say that what we've designed the game to be is that we want it to be difficult and we want it to be challenging for players that want a good challenge and want good fun. And what we want to do is we want to give players the opportunity to jump in together, pick the skills that they want, pick the weapons that complement that setup, because depending on what kind of group we are, we utilize different weapons, and go in, utilizing stealth or not, try to finish the missions the best way they can. Like I said, it's such a fun thing for us being fans of the comic books to make levels, missions in the Walking Dead universe, because everything has a purpose, right? You asked about stealth. And of course, you can stealth as far as possible, but probably at some point a human person will see you, or you will, end up, popping off a trap
or something, right? Yeah.
Or like I saw one player mistakenly throwing a flashbang, getting everyone's attention at the wrong time, and just, diverting the action completely.
That's great. Let's switch gears here and talk about the narrative. Obviously, this is set in Skybound's Walking Dead universe. There are a ton of fans of the comic as well as the TV show.
Yeah.
Are we going to see any characters returning from other mediums in your game?
That's a really good question. For Overkill's The Walking Dead, for launch, we're focusing on telling our own original story. That's where our focus is. But we're really happy that we got Robert's blessing on making the game canon, meaning that the game plays out in the same universe as his other characters in the comic books. So that's where we are now. However, in the future, our goal is to continue with the development of the game with a lifeline, that we call it. Because you being a Payday player, you know how hard we've continued to work on Payday 2 post-launch. I mean,
Great.
The game came out in 2013, and to this day we have 190 updates. We're still working on new free content for the community, and we aim to do the same with Overkill's The Walking Dead in the Walking Dead universe. And the amount of times we've talked with Robert and his team about this, and getting excited about the opportunity we have to delve further into the Walking Dead universe with the community in a first-person setting, I mean, that's really cool to us.
All right, bad news, Elmir. We've attracted walkers. The Horde is on its way.
I can see that.
Or maybe it's just walkers in the immediate area. So what happens when I aggroed the Horde? There were innumerable amounts of them, so many that it almost seemed impossible to pass. So is it possible to get your noise meter all the way up, aggro the Horde, and still make it through the mission?
We're going to talk more about the noise meter as we get closer to the launch, but I think when you you could almost argue that it's the difficulty because of it becomes dynamic in a sense, because the more noise you make, the more walkers are going to appear, and the harder it's probably going to get. And I'm saying probably because if you're stealthy enough, if you're agile enough with your team and coordinated enough, you can run through it, right? So the difficulty is not an arbitrary thing. It's a living, breathing thing, or undying thing. Well, it's the walkers walking around the level. So we promised the Payday players that if they are into doing heists, then they definitely should check this out because of the tactical first-person shooter gameplay. We've really gone in a really cool direction with this game. And yeah, we think people are going to like it.
Fantastic. One of my things about Payday is inspiring interesting team play, making sure you watch each other's back. What are you doing in The Walking Dead to maintain that feeling of necessity to communicate with your team?
Yeah. How did it go for you when you played? Did you have fun? What happened?
Yeah, so I was trying to communicate. I was there with IGN product creator Kate Phoebing. We were communicating. We were talking. We were like, I have this thing, and I have this thing, and I can make it through this gate. And the other two guys with us, I don't think spoke English. So there was kind of half the team was on one page, half the team was on the other. So it was rough.
Just like in The Walking Dead, right? That's a beautiful story, from the Walking Dead universe, because not all groups are going to get along, Not all survivors are going to be best friends or might not be able to communicate properly or whatever. But you have to survive. And that's why you stick together. And that's the cool thing about the gameplay, because that's what we've built the game towards.
That's really exciting. I know you may not be able to talk about some of this, but a great part of Payday and Payday 2 is the progression, is starting out with a weapon that you feel okay about and getting to a place where you've really refined your kit, refined your archetype. Will there be progression for your character in The Walking Dead?
Absolutely, 100%. The purpose of the game, other than being based in the Walking Dead universe and being a great action romp together with your friends, is that we want to continue giving players tools to level up their characters and experience the world in different ways. There will be, we will talk more about the specific progression system and how it's affected and how the skill trees and look and so forth. But right now, our focus is just getting people into the action and seeing what people think about the gameplay.
Yeah, really exciting. Let's speak about how you kill a walker. For those of us who haven't seen The Walking Dead, you have to take them down in a specific way. Does that translate to your game? Do you need to get all headshots, all hits to the head? Can you shoot a walker 100 times in the chest and it'd still be walking?
Maybe not 100 times, but they definitely, yeah. We've taken great detail. Our artists have done such a great job, the technical artist team and the artist team, on making sure we portray walkers in as best of a way we can, because they're horrific when they come up close, and you can shoot off their limbs. We have a dismemberment system, if you will. So if you shoot one in the leg and the leg drops, they fall to the ground, but they still want you, so they crawl towards you, right?
It's looking to bite you, your feet, and I had that a whole bunch. So talk me through, we see we're firing a flare here. What is this accomplishing?
So the flare is a part of the mission, and we'll jump deeper into those kind of things when we come closer to launch,
So in terms of mission variants, Payday had a really good mission variants. There were a lot of stealth missions. You had to go in and maintain stealth. There were some crazy loud missions. What are you excited in terms of designing your levels in The Walking Dead as far as variants is concerned?
I'm excited because when we made Payday back in the day, we were a different group of developers, and the Overkill team and Starbase team has grown so much with so many great talents from different studios and countries around the world. So the Overkill crew we see today is such a great mix of talent, senior and junior, working together to create this really, really cool experience. So for me, having been a part of Payday for such a long time, seeing our team work together, creating these really cool levels, it's definitely something else. And I think if you're a Payday fan, you should definitely check it out, because if you like what we've done in the past, this is definitely going to be up your alley.
Let's speak about crafting. It's not a crazy crafting system where I have to go to a workbench and bang out like an iron helmet, but you are gathering resources and you are crafting things to help you along your journey. So what can you craft?
Yeah, so the crafting system is supposed to do two things, really. Help you in the mission you're playing by crafting additional bombs or what have you, and helping you upgrade your camp further. And we wanted the crafting system to be important, but also not deter from the gameplay. So we want people to be able to have fun, but not feel that they have to go and do something else for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes every time, and they don't like that as much. So we've tried to incorporate it as much as we can into the gameplay, so you actively have to look for the things, but they also are rewarding when you actually activate them as well.
Let me ask you, what are you most excited for people to experience when they get their hands on Overkill's The Walking Dead?
For me personally, the most exciting thing will be seeing people starting play for real when we get closer to launch on the 6th of November. Because that's when the real work starts. Our philosophy working on video games is that we want to do games as service. We want to continue work on the game post-launch. So seeing the reaction on the stories that we have wanted to tell through the launch, gameplay that will be available, and then working on more content together with the community and exploring the Walking Dead universe further. What's going on in Washington, D.C.? What can we find there? Where's the government? There are so many unanswered questions in the Walking Dead universe that we want to explore together with Robert and the rest of the Walking Dead community.
Elmir, I cannot wait to answer those questions when it comes out on the 6th of November. Thank you so much for joining me. Stick around because we have so much more E3 2018 here on IGN.